I cheated because I thought I deserved better. That's the truth I have to live with now. It started 6 months before the photos. 6 months before everything I thought I knew shattered like sheep glass. My fiancée Emma and I had been together for 8 years. 8 years of building a life, planning a wedding, talking about kids. 8 years of her being the person who knew me better than anyone. Or so I thought. The woman's name was Olivia. We met at a work conference in Denver. She was confident, successful, exciting in ways that made my routine life feel small. Emma had stopped surprising me. That's what I told myself. The spark had died. We'd become roommates who occasionally kissed. All the usual excuses people like me use. Olivia laughed at my jokes. She touched my arm when we talked. She made me feel like I was someone worth noticing again. The first night we kissed, I felt alive. The guilt came later, around 3 a.m., when I couldn't sleep and kept checking my phone to see if Emma had texted goodnight. She had, with a heart emoji, like she always did. I told myself it was a one-time thing, a mistake, a moment of weakness. But I went back to her hotel room the next night, and the night after that. When I got home, Emma hugged me at the door like she'd missed me. She'd made my favorite dinner. She asked about the conference with genuine interest, her eyes bright and attentive. I lied to her face while she smiled at me, trusting every word. The affair lasted 3 months. 3 months of secret texts and stolen weekends when I claimed work trips. 3 months of watching Emma plan our wedding, showing me invitation designs and asking if I preferred the salmon or the chicken for the reception dinner. 3 months of being the worst version of myself. I almost got away with it. Olivia ended things first, actually. She met someone else, someone single, someone who could actually give her a real relationship. The irony wasn't lost on me. I felt relief. I could go back to normal. Pretend it never happened. Marry Emma and never tell her. People do it all the time, right? What she didn't know wouldn't hurt her. That's what I actually believed. That's how delusional I was. 2 weeks after Olivia ended it, Emma asked me to help her parents move. They were downsizing from the house where she grew up, moving into a smaller place across town. It was a Saturday in October, the kind of perfect fall day that feels borrowed from a movie. I didn't want to go. I was tired. I had things to do. But Emma looked at me with those trusting eyes and said, "It would mean so much to them. They love you." So I went. Emma's dad, Richard, is the kind of man who still opens doors and says please and thank you to waiters. He'd always treated me like the son he never had. We spent the morning loading boxes, making terrible jokes about how much stuff accumulates over 30 years. Emma's mom, Patricia, kept bringing us lemonade and cookies. They were good people. They'd welcomed me into their family without hesitation. They called me son. Around noon, Richard asked me to sort through boxes in the attic while he and Emma handled the basement. "Just see what's worth keeping and what's trash," he said. "You've got good judgment." The attic was hot and dusty. Boxes everywhere, labeled in Patricia's neat handwriting. Christmas decorations, old textbooks, kitchen stuff, baby clothes, and then one box, unmarked, shoved in a far corner behind a broken lamp. I almost didn't open it. Something about the way it was hidden felt deliberate. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside were photographs. Hundreds of them. Old ones, the kind with dates stamped in orange in the corner. The first photo I pulled out stopped my heart. It was me. Maybe 2 years old, sitting on a woman's lap. But not my mother's lap. This woman had dark hair and kind eyes and a smile that looked nothing like my mom's careful, practiced expression. She was holding me like I was the most precious thing in the world. The date on the back said April 1994. But according to my parents, I was born in June 1993, which would make me almost 3 in this photo, not 2. And I definitely didn't look 3. My hands started shaking. I grabbed another photo. Me as an infant with a different couple. Not my parents. The date said October 1992. But I was supposedly born in June 1993. Another photo. Me maybe 4 months old, sleeping in a crib with alphabet blocks visible in the corner. December 1992. 6 months before I was supposedly born. I tore through the box. Photo after photo of me with people I'd never seen. Me in places I didn't recognize. Me wearing clothes my mother swore she'd dressed me in, but being held by strangers. And in every single photo, the dates were wrong. All of them before my official birthday. My chest felt tight. The attic suddenly seemed smaller, the air thinner. One photo near the bottom stopped me cold. It was dated March 1993. 3 months before my supposed birth. In it, I was clearly over 6 months old, sitting up, grabbing at the camera with fat baby hands. On the back, in handwriting I didn't recognize, someone had written, Michael at 8 months. Getting so big. Michael. My name. But written by someone who wasn't my mother. I heard footsteps on the attic stairs. Emma's voice calling up, "Hey, we're ordering pizza. You want your usual?" I shoved the photos back in the box. My mouth was dry. "Yeah. Sounds good." Her footsteps retreated. I sat there in the dust and heat, holding a box of photographs that proved my entire childhood was a lie. Every birthday, every story my parents told about the day I was born, every family photo on our living room wall, all of it built on something they'd never told me. I was adopted. And for 31 years, no one thought I deserved to know. That night, I couldn't eat the pizza. Emma kept asking if I was okay. I said I was tired. She rubbed my shoulders and said we could go home early if I wanted. Her kindness felt like knives. Because while I sat there spiraling about my parents' lie, I was carrying an even bigger one. The affair. Olivia. All those nights I'd betrayed the woman currently worried about whether I was comfortable. I'd spent 3 months destroying the best thing in my life because I thought I deserved better. Now I was finding out I didn't even know who I was. That night, after Rema fell asleep, I got out of bed. My hands were still shaking. I called my parents. It was past midnight, but I didn't care. My mom answered, groggy. "Michael, what's wrong?" "I found photos," I said. My voice sounded strange, hollow. In Emma's parents' attic. Photos of me as a baby. With people who aren't you. Silence. Long, terrible silence. "Michael." Her voice cracked. "We can explain." "So it's true," I said. "I'm adopted." I heard my dad's voice in the background, urgent. My mom said something I couldn't hear. Then she came back on the line. "We were going to tell you," she whispered. We wanted to wait for the right time." 31 years, I said. "You've had 31 years. It's complicated." Then uncomplicated. "I want to know everything." Another pause. Then my dad took the phone. His voice was steadier, but I could hear the strain. "Son, this isn't a conversation for the middle of the night. Come over tomorrow. We'll tell you everything. I promise." Why were the photos at Emma's parents' house? Silence again. This one longer. "Dad, why did Emma's parents have photos of me as a baby with other people?" "Tomorrow," he said firmly. "We'll explain tomorrow." He hung up. I stood in the dark living room, phone in my hand, my entire world tilting sideways. Why would Emma's parents have those photos? How were they connected to my adoption? Had Emma known? Had everyone known except me? I looked back toward the bedroom where Emma slept, trusting and oblivious. I'd thought I was protecting her by hiding my affair. I'd thought I was the one with the devastating secret. Turns out, everyone in my life had been hiding something bigger. The next morning, Emma made coffee and asked if I wanted to go to the farmer's market. I told her I needed to see my parents. She kissed my cheek and said she'd come with me if I wanted support. I said no. I needed to do this alone. She looked hurt but didn't push. "Okay. I'll be here when you get back." I almost told her then. About Olivia. About the affair. About how I'd thrown away 8 years for someone who didn't even want me. But I couldn't add my confession to whatever bomb my parents were about to drop. So I kissed her forehead like I deserved to and walked out the door. The drive to my parents' house took 20 minutes. It felt like hours. My mind kept spinning through possibilities. Maybe the adoption was open and Emma's parents knew my birth family. Maybe they'd been friends. Maybe it was all some weird coincidence. But I knew it wasn't. The way my parents had reacted on the phone, the way they'd hidden those photos in an unmarked box in the attic, the way they lied for 31 years. None of it added up to a simple explanation. My mom opened the door before I could knock. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Come in," she said quietly. The house smelt like toffee and regret. My dad sat at the kitchen table, looking older than I'd ever seen him. There was a folder in front of him. Brown. Official looking. I sat down across from them. "Tell me." My mom started crying before she said a word. My dad put his hand over hers and took a breath. "You're right," he said. "You're adopted. We've always known we'd have to tell you someday. We just." 31 years, I repeated. "You were 13 months old when we got you," my mom said through tears. "We loved you from the moment we saw you. You were ours. We never thought of you as anything but our son, who were my birth parents." My dad slid the folder across the table. "It's complicated." I opened it. Inside were legal documents, court papers, things I didn't fully understand. But one name jumped out at me. Sarah Preston. Emma's mother's maiden name. The room went silent. I looked up at my parents. Emma's mom? No, my dad said quickly. Her younger sister. Sarah. She passed away when you were 14 months old. Car accident. And your birth father wasn't in the picture. He'd left before you were born. The world stopped spinning. Everything went very, very still. Emma's aunt, I said slowly. Emma's aunt was my birth mother. My mom nodded, tears streaming down her face. We were friends with Richard and Patricia. When Sarah died, they were devastated. They tried to take care of you, but Patricia had just had Emma 6 months earlier, and Richard was traveling constantly for work. They couldn't handle 2 babies. They were falling apart. So you took me. We'd been trying to have a child for years, my dad said. Fertility treatments, everything. Nothing worked. When Richard and Patricia asked if we'd be willing to adopt you, it felt like fate. Like you were meant to be ours. Does Emma know? They looked at each other. Some unspoken communication passed between them. No, my mom finally said. Patricia and Richard decided not to tell her. They thought it would be too confusing. You were both so young. And as you got older, it just seemed easier to let you both believe you'd met in college like normal people. Normal people, I repeated. The words tasted like ash. We're cousins, I said. Emma and I are cousins. Second cousins, my dad corrected, like that made it better. Technically, Sarah was Patricia's half-sister from Patricia's dad's second marriage. Different mothers. So the blood relation is distant. We're still related. And you let us get engaged. You let us plan a wedding. You were going to let us get married. My mom reached for my hand. I pulled away. We thought. We hoped. She couldn't finish. You hoped what? That I'd never find out? That I'd marry my own cousin and you could just keep lying forever? You're barely related, my dad tried again. Legally, there's nothing wrong with second cousins marrying. It's perfectly fine. We checked. You checked, I said. You knew this was wrong and you checked anyway, and then you let it happen. I stood up. The chair scraped against the floor, too loud in the quiet kitchen. I need to think. Michael, please. Don't. I held up my hand. Don't tell me you did this for me. Don't tell me you were protecting me. You lied. For 31 years. You let me fall in love with someone I shouldn't have. You let me build a life on a foundation of lies. I walked out. My mom called after me, but I didn't stop. In my car, I sat with my hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. I'd cheated on Emma because I thought I deserved better. Now I was finding out we shouldn't have even been together in the first place. And I had to tell her. I had to destroy the woman I'd already betrayed, had to break her heart twice. Once for the affair she didn't know about, once for the family secret that made our entire relationship wrong. I drove home in a fog. Emma's car was still in the driveway. She was probably inside planning our wedding, deciding between flowers, imagining our future, a future that couldn't exist. I sat in the car for 20 minutes before I went inside. Emma looked up from her laptop when I entered. She smiled, then saw my face. What happened? I sat down next to her, took her hand, looked into the eyes of the woman I'd loved for 8 years and destroyed in 3 months. We need to talk. I told Emma everything. Not in the right order. Not in a way that made sense. Just a flood of truth that had been dammed up too long. I told her about the photos, about the dates, about my parents' confession. I watched her face go through stages. Confusion. Disbelief. Slow, creeping horror. Wait, she said, pulling her hand away from mine. Wait. You're saying your birth mother was my Aunt Sarah? The one who died before I was born? Yes. And my parents knew? This whole time? Yes. She stood up. Sat back down. Stood up again. Her hands were shaking. We're related, she said. We're. Oh God. Michael, we're related. Second cousins. Technically. My dad said it's legal, that there's nothing wrong with. Nothing wrong? Her voice cracked. Nothing wrong? We've been together for 8 years. 8 years. And everyone knew except us? Emma. My parents watched us fall in love. They came to dinners. They asked when we were getting married. They helped us plan the wedding. She was crying now, angry tears. They knew. They knew and they said nothing. I wanted to comfort her. I reached out. She flinched away. Don't touch me. I need to think. She grabbed her keys, her phone, her jacket. Where are you going? My parents' house. Her voice was cold, controlled, terrifying. I need to hear this from them. Emma, wait. There's something else I need to tell you. She stopped at the door, turned. What else could there possibly be? This was the moment. The moment I should have told her about Olivia. About the affair. About how I'd already destroyed us before we even knew we were cousins. But I looked at her devastated face and I couldn't do it. Couldn't add that betrayal on top of this one. Couldn't make this worse. So I lied again. Nothing. Never mind. She left. The door didn't slam. That would have been better, somehow. Instead, it closed with a soft click that sounded like finality. I sat in the empty apartment and understood, for the first time, what it meant to be completely alone. The next 3 days were a special kind of hell. Emma stayed at a friend's house. She wouldn't answer my calls. Her parents wouldn't answer either. I got one text from her: I need space. Don't contact me. My parents called constantly. I ignored them. What was there to say? They'd stolen my identity, my history, my right to know who I was. And in doing so, they'd poisoned the one real thing I'd ever had. Well, the one real thing I'd had before I poisoned it myself. On the third night, Emma finally texted, "We need to talk. Come to Riverside Park tomorrow at 2. I showed up at 1:30. Waited on the bench where we'd had our first date 8 years ago. The irony was too perfect to miss. She arrived exactly at 2. Her eyes were hollow. She'd lost weight. I'd done that to her. We sat in silence for a long time, watching the river, watching other people's normal lives continue around us. My parents admitted everything, she finally said. My mom cried for 2 hours. My dad tried to explain why they never told us. Said they thought it was better if we didn't know. That the relation was so distant it didn't matter. My parents said the same thing. They're wrong. She looked at me. It matters. Of course it matters. We built our entire relationship on not knowing who we really were. We're still us, I tried. The relation is distant. Like they said, it's legal. Plenty of second cousins. Stop. Her voice was sharp. Don't try to make this okay. My aunt died and my parents took her baby and gave him away and never told anyone. You and I grew up in the same family system and no one thought we deserved to know. That's not okay. That's not something we just get over. She was right. I knew she was right. What do we do? I asked. I don't know. She wiped her eyes. I've been thinking about nothing else for 3 days. And I don't know. Do you still love me? The question hung between us like smoke. I don't know that either, she said quietly. I look at you and I see 8 years of memories. But I also see a lie. I see my parents and your parents all sitting around holiday tables, keeping this massive secret. I see us planning a wedding that maybe shouldn't happen. I don't know what's real anymore. We're real, I said desperately. What we feel is real. Is it? How do I know? How do either of us know? Maybe we bonded because we're related. Maybe our connection is biological, not romantic. Maybe everything we thought was love was just genetics. That's not how it works. You don't know that. I don't know that. We don't know anything anymore. She pulled out her phone, showed me search results, articles about genetic attraction, about relatives who met as adults and fell in love, not knowing they were related, about how biology can create bonds that feel like romance. I've been reading, she said, trying to understand. And everything I read makes me question everything I thought I knew about us. Emma, we met in college. We didn't know each other as kids. We fell in love like normal people. But we're not normal people. We're cousins who didn't know we were cousins. And our families watched it happen and said nothing. She put her phone away. I need time. I need to figure out who I am apart from you. Apart from this relationship. I need to know if what I feel is real or if it's just confusion. Biology. A lie I've been telling myself for 8 years. What are you saying? She took off her engagement ring, held it in her palm like it was made of glass. I'm saying we need to take a break. A real one. No contact. At least a month. Maybe more. I need to clear my head. Emma, please. This isn't just about the cousin thing, she said. It's about trust. It's about whether we can build a life together when our entire relationship started with a lie. When our families thought lying to us was acceptable. She looked at me. Can you honestly say you trust me right now? Trust us? After learning all this? I wanted to say yes. But the truth was, I didn't trust anyone anymore. Not my parents. Not her parents. Not even myself. And I definitely didn't trust that I deserved her. She handed me the ring. 1 month. No calls. No texts. We both think. We both figure out who we are and what we want. And then we talk. What if you decide you don't want this? Want us? Then at least we'll know, she said. At least we'll have made a choice based on truth instead of a lie. She stood up, walked away, didn't look back. I sat on that bench until the sun went down, holding an engagement ring for a wedding that might never happen, to a woman I'd already betrayed in ways she didn't even know yet. The month without Emma was brutal. I moved through work like a ghost. Colleagues asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. They didn't believe me. I didn't care. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't focus on anything except the crushing weight of my own lies. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about keeping secrets: they compound. One lie becomes 10. 10 become 100. And suddenly you're drowning in a version of yourself you don't recognize. I'd lied to Emma about Olivia. My parents had lied about my adoption. Emma's parents had lied about our connection. Everything was lies stacked on more lies. And I couldn't tell the truth. Because if I told Emma about the affair now, while she was already drowning, it would destroy her. It would destroy any chance we had. It would prove that not only was our relationship built on a lie, but I'd actively chosen to betray it. So I kept quiet, added another lie to the pile. 2 weeks into the break, I got a message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Olivia. I heard what happened. Are you okay?" I stared at it for 10 minutes. How did she know? Had I told her about Emma's parents during the affair? Had I mentioned their names? I couldn't remember. Those 3 months were a blur of bad decisions. I didn't respond. Blocked the number. 3 weeks in, my mom showed up at my apartment. I didn't let her in at first. She stood in the hallway and talked through the door. "I know you're angry," she said. "You have every right to be. But we love you. We've always loved you. We did what we thought was best." Best for who? I called back. Not for me. Not for Emma. For you. So you didn't have to deal with the complexity. So you could pretend everything was simple. You were right. Her voice cracked. You were right. We were selfish. We were wrong. I'm sorry. Your father is sorry. We'll spend the rest of our lives being sorry if that's what it takes. I opened the door. She looked smaller somehow. Older. "I need to know everything," I said. "About Sarah. About my birth father. About why you really hid this." She nodded. Came inside. Sat on my couch and told me the truth. Sarah had been 19 when she got pregnant. The father was a guy she'd met at college, someone who disappeared the moment he found out. Sarah wanted to keep me. Wanted to be a mother. But she was young and scared and broke. Patricia and Richard tried to help. But Patricia had just had Emma. She was overwhelmed. Richard was traveling for work constantly. They were drowning. Then Sarah died. The car accident was quick, my mom said. She didn't suffer. But it left a 14-month-old baby with no parents and a family that couldn't care for him. We stepped in, my mom said. We'd always wanted a child. You needed parents. It seemed perfect. Why not tell me? At first, we thought we'd tell you when you were older, when you could understand. But then you started school and had friends and a life, and telling you seemed cruel. Like we'd be taking away your sense of self. Instead you just lied. Yes, she admitted. We lied. And then Emma came into the picture when you were in college, and we realized who she was, and by then it felt too late. We thought if we told you, you'd hate us. You'd leave. We'd lose you. So you just let me fall in love with my cousin. Second cousin. And Michael, there are cultures where that's completely normal. Where second cousins marry all the time. We researched it. Talked to lawyers. Genetically, there's almost no risk. Legally, there's no problem. We thought. You thought you could just keep hiding it forever. She didn't deny it. Did you talk to Emma's parents? Did you plan this together? We talked, she admitted. We agreed it was better if neither of you knew. Richard and Patricia felt the same way we did. They didn't want to lose Emma. Didn't want her to look at them differently. So 4 adults decided that protecting yourselves was more important than telling 2 people the truth. We were wrong. She was crying now. We were so wrong. And I don't know how to fix it. You can't, I said. That's the point. You can't fix this. You can't undo 31 years of lies. You can't give me back my identity or my relationship or my ability to trust anyone ever again. She left eventually. I watched her go and felt nothing. Just emptiness where anger should have been. The month ended on a Thursday. Emma texted at noon. Can we meet? Same place, 2 p.m. I was there at 1:30 again. Waiting. Hoping. Dreading. She showed up on time. Sat down. We watched the river in silence. I've thought about nothing else for 30 days, she finally said. I've talked to therapists. I've researched. I've cried until I thought I'd never stop. I've imagined every possible future. And I love you, she said. I hate that I love you. I hate that our families lied. I hate that we're related. I hate all of it. But I love you. My heart leapt. Crashed. Leapt again. But, she continued, I can't marry you. Not now. Maybe not ever. I can't walk down an aisle knowing that everyone in that room kept this secret. I can't build a life with you when I don't trust the foundation. So what are you saying? I'm saying we start over. Completely over. We date. We take it slow. We figure out who we are as people, not just as a couple. We go to therapy, together and separately. We decide if this is real or if it's just habit and fear and genetics. That could take years. I know, she said. And you need to decide if you're willing to do that. If you're willing to put in the work to earn back trust. Because Michael, I don't trust you right now. I don't trust your parents. I barely trust my own parents. Everything feels broken. I'll do whatever it takes, I said. The words came out automatically. The same words I'd said when I proposed. The same words I'd whispered after fights. The same words I'd told myself when I decided to hide the affair. Empty words. Lying words. Because the truth was, I'd already broken us. She just didn't know it yet. Okay, she said. Then we try. Slowly. Carefully. No promises. No guarantees. Just trying. She didn't kiss me. Didn't hug me. Just squeezed my hand once and walked away. I should have felt relieved. Grateful. Happy that she was willing to give us another chance. Instead, I felt the walls closing in. Because now I had to live with two secrets, the one my parents had kept, and the one I was keeping from her. And I was starting to understand that secrets don't just hurt the people you keep them from. They rot you from the inside. They turn you into someone you don't recognize. That night, Olivia texted again from a new number. I know you blocked me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. About everything. You deserved better. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I did something I knew I'd regret. I wrote back, it wasn't your fault. It was mine. All of it. She responded immediately, do you want to talk? I'm a good listener. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Emma and I weren't officially back together. We were taking it slow. Dating. No promises. Which meant, technically, I was single. Which meant, technically, talking to Olivia wouldn't be cheating. That's what I told myself as I typed. Yeah. Maybe. Let me think about it. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. I'm here if you need me. I put my phone down. Stared at the ceiling. Tried to figure out when I'd become the kind of person who would even consider this. But I already knew. I'd become this person 3 months into a 3-month affair. I'd become this person when I chose temporary excitement over permanent love. I'd become this person when I decided I deserved better than the best thing that ever happened to me. I didn't text Olivia back that night. But I didn't delete her number either. And that was the real problem. Not that I cheated once, but that I was the kind of person who could rationalize doing it again. Emma and I started therapy the following week. Individual sessions and couples counseling. Our therapist, Dr. Martinez, was kind but direct. You're both dealing with trauma, she said in our first joint session. Not just the revelation about your family connection, but the betrayal of trust from your parents. That's going to take time to process. Emma nodded. I nodded. We both said the right things. But I couldn't focus. Because every time Dr. Martinez talked about trust and honesty and building healthy foundations, I felt the weight of my secret growing heavier. Michael, Dr. Martinez said, pulling me back to the present. You seem distracted. What are you thinking? Just processing, I lied. It's a lot. Emma reached over. Took my hand. We're in this together, she said. Whatever happens, we're doing it honestly now. No more secrets. She looked at me with those trusting eyes. The same eyes that had believed me when I lied about work trips. The same eyes that had never suspected I could betray her. I squeezed her hand and smiled. No more secrets, I repeated. Dr. Martinez smiled. That's good. Honesty is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, you're just building on sand. I nodded. Agreed. Made all the appropriate noises. And inside, I felt myself crumbling. Because I was exactly what she described, a foundation of sand, waiting for the first wave to wash me away. That night, Olivia texted again. I miss talking to you. I should have blocked her. Should have deleted the message. Should have told Emma right then and there about everything. Instead, I wrote back, I miss it too. And that's when I realized I hadn't learned anything. I hadn't changed. I was still the same person who chose the easy lie over the hard truth. I was still the person who would destroy everything good in my life and call it bad luck. The texts with Olivia started innocently. That's what I told myself. Just catching up. Just being friendly. Nothing wrong with talking to an old friend, right? Except Olivia wasn't an old friend. She was the woman I'd cheated with. The woman who represented every bad decision I'd ever made. And every text I sent her was another lie I told Emma. We were 3 months into the slow rebuild. Emma and I went on dates like strangers learning each other. Coffee shops. Walks in the park. Movies where we didn't have to talk. It felt forced. Awkward. Like wearing someone else's clothes. But Emma was trying. She'd smile at my jokes. Reach for my hand. Ask about my day with genuine interest. And I'd smile back and tell her half-truths while texting Olivia about how hard everything was. Emma wants to take things slow, I texted Olivia one night. I don't know if we'll ever get back to how we were. Maybe that's not a bad thing, Olivia replied. Maybe you need something different. I should have stopped right there. Should have seen the manipulation. The door opening. Instead I wrote, maybe you're right. Dr. Martinez kept pushing us toward honesty. The only way forward is complete transparency, she said in session 4. Emma, you need to feel safe sharing your fears. Michael, you need to be willing to be vulnerable. I'm trying, I said. It's just hard. Learning I was adopted, that my whole identity was different than I thought. It's shaken everything. Emma squeezed my hand. We're both shaken. But we're figuring it out together. Dr. Martinez nodded approvingly. That's exactly right. You're a team. As long as you're honest with each other, you can work through anything. I wanted to vomit. Because sitting in that office, holding Emma's hand, talking about honesty while actively lying, I finally understood what I'd become. Not just a cheater. Not just a liar. But someone who could look the person I claimed to love in the eye and betray them in real time. That night, Emma suggested we stay at her apartment. She'd made dinner. Lit candles. Put on the music we'd listened to on our first date. I want to try, she said softly. Really try. I know it's complicated. I know we're cousins and that's weird and maybe wrong. But I can't imagine my life without you in it. We kissed. First time in 3 months. It felt familiar and foreign at the same time. We ended up in her bedroom. She paused before anything happened. Is this okay? Are we ready for this? I should have said no. Should have told her we needed more time. Should have confessed everything right then. Instead, I pulled her closer. I love you, I said. I've never stopped loving you. It was true. That was the worst part. Even while betraying her, even while texting another woman, even while building lie upon lie, I genuinely loved her. I just loved myself more. Afterward, she fell asleep in my arms. I stared at the ceiling, feeling her heart beat against my chest, and my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Olivia, thinking about you. I should have ignored it. Should have turned off my phone. Should have focused on the woman literally sleeping in my arms. Instead, I carefully extracted myself. Went to the bathroom. Texted back, can't talk now. Tomorrow? Can't wait, she replied. I looked at myself in the mirror. Saw a stranger. Someone I didn't recognize. This was who I'd become. Someone who would hold one woman while planning to text another. Someone who would accept love I didn't deserve while actively destroying any possibility of keeping it. The next morning, Emma made breakfast. She was humming. Actually humming. Happy. I know last night was a big step, she said, sliding eggs onto my plate. But it felt right. Didn't it? Like maybe we really can do this? It felt right, I agreed. My phone buzzed. I flipped it face down too quickly. Emma noticed. Everything okay? Just work, I lied. Nothing important. She nodded. Believed me. Because why wouldn't she? I was the man she loved. The man she was fighting to rebuild a life with. The man who'd been betrayed by his own family's lies. I was also the man actively texting his former affair partner while eating breakfast she'd made. The walls were closing in. I could feel it. The weight of the lies. The pressure of maintaining 2 versions of myself. The exhaustion of remembering what I'd told to whom. That afternoon, I met Olivia for coffee. Just coffee. Just talking. That's what I told myself. She looked good. Confident. The way she'd looked when we first met. The way that had made me forget I had someone waiting at home. You look tired, she said. I am tired. This thing with Emma, it's complicated. Because you're cousins. I told her. During the affair, in a moment of weakness, I'd told her about finding the photos, about the revelation. I'd told her everything, which meant she knew. She'd always known. And she texted me anyway. Second cousins, I corrected automatically. Barely related. Still weird though, right? Like, does it feel different now? Knowing you're related? Everything feels different now. She reached across the table, touched my hand. You don't have to go back to her, you know. You could choose something else. Someone else. I should have pulled my hand away. Should have left. Should have blocked her number and confessed everything to Emma. Instead, I let her hand stay. It's not that simple. Why not? She's your cousin. Your family lied to you both. You're trying to force something that maybe shouldn't exist. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. What's it trying to tell me? She smiled. The smile that had started everything. That you deserve better. That you deserve someone who isn't complicated. Someone who isn't related to you. Someone who wants you without all the baggage. It was manipulation. Obvious manipulation. I knew it even as I sat there. But I wanted to believe it. Wanted to believe I wasn't the villain. That maybe I'd just been unlucky. That maybe Emma and I were wrong for each other and the cheating was just a symptom of a bigger problem. I need to think, I said. Think fast, Olivia replied. I won't wait forever. I left the coffee shop in a daze. Drove around for an hour. Tried to figure out how I'd gotten here. But I knew. Every choice. Every lie. Every moment I'd chosen comfort over honesty. They'd all led here, to this moment, to this version of myself I barely recognized. That night, end the call. Can you come over? I want to talk about something. My stomach dropped. She knew. Somehow she knew. Someone had seen me with Olivia. Or she'd found the texts. Or the universe had finally decided I needed to face consequences. I drove to her apartment preparing for the end. Rehearsing confessions. Planning how to tell her everything. She opened the door smiling. Come in. Sit down. I have news. Not angry. Happy. Excited. I sat on her couch, confused and terrified. I've been thinking, she said. About us. About everything. And I talked to my therapist and Dr. Martinez and even my parents, and I've decided something. What? I want to do it. I want to marry you. The room tilted. What? I know we said we take it slow. I know there are complications. But Michael, I love you. I've loved you for 8 years. And yes, we're related, but barely. And yes, our families lied, but that's not our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. We fell in love honestly. Why should we let their mistakes ruin our lives? She pulled out the engagement ring. The one she'd handed back 2 months ago. So I'm asking you, will you still marry me? I stared at her. At the ring. At the hopeful expression on her face. This was it. The moment where I could make it right. Where I could tell her everything. About Olivia. About the affair. About the texts. About how I betrayed her before we even knew we were cousins. This was the moment where I could be honest. Where I could give her the choice she deserved. Where I could stop being a coward. Yes, I heard myself say. Yes, I'll marry you. She threw her arms around me. Kissed me. Cried happy tears. I was so nervous. I thought you might say no. I thought you might not want this anymore. I want this, I said. I want you. Both true. Both completely true. Also completely irrelevant. Because what I wanted didn't matter anymore. I'd forfeited the right to want things when I'd chosen to betray her. We celebrated that night. Called our parents. Made announcements. Set a new date. 6 months away. Small ceremony. Just close family and friends. Emma was radiant. Glowing. Everything I'd destroyed for her was back. The happiness. The trust. The love. And I just locked myself into marrying her while keeping the secret that would destroy everything. I texted Olivia that night from the bathroom. Emma and I are engaged. For real this time. I can't see you anymore. She replied immediately, you're making a mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. She's your cousin, Michael. You're going to marry your cousin. That's insane. We're barely related. Keep telling yourself that. But when you're standing at that altar, wondering if you're making the right choice, remember I gave you an out. I offered you something real. Something uncomplicated. I blocked her number. For real this time. Deleted the messages. Tried to erase the evidence. But I couldn't erase what I'd done. Couldn't undo the affair. Couldn't take back the lies. The wedding planning consumed us. Emma threw herself into it with manic energy. Flowers. Venue. Dress. invitations. She wanted everything perfect. Wanted to prove that we could have the life we'd planned. Family secrets be damned. I went through the motions, smiled at dress fittings, agreed to seating charts, tasted cake and pretended I could taste anything at all. My parents were cautiously optimistic. "We're so glad you're working things out," my mom said. "We were so afraid we'd ruined everything." "You did ruin everything," I wanted to say. "You just don't know how much yet." But I smiled, hugged her, pretended everything was fine. Emma's parents were the same. Relieved, happy, acting like the massive betrayal was just a bump in the road we'd successfully navigated. Nobody knew the truth. Nobody knew that while we were planning a wedding, I was drowning in secrets that would destroy everything the moment they came to light. 2 weeks before the wedding, Dr. Martinez asked us both a question in therapy. "Is there anything either of you needs to confess? Anything you're holding back? Because marriage requires complete honesty. If there's something you haven't shared, now is the time." Emma shook her head. "I think we've been honest. Finally. After all the family secrets, we've been completely open with each other." Dr. Martinez looked at me. "Michael, anything you need to share?" This was it. Last chance. Final opportunity to come clean. I thought about the affair, the texts, the coffee with Olivia, every lie I'd told, every moment I'd betrayed the woman sitting next to me. I thought about how confession would destroy her, how it would prove that not only was our relationship built on our family's lies, but on my lies too, how it would shatter the fragile rebuild we'd managed. I thought about how I'd lose her, how I deserved to lose her, how the truth would set me free and destroy us both in the process. "Nothing," I said. "I have nothing to hide." Dr. Martinez smiled. "Good. Then I think you're ready. You've both done the work. You've both been honest. You're building on a foundation of truth now. That's what matters." Emma squeezed my hand. "Believe every word." I squeezed back and felt the foundation crack beneath me. The night before the wedding, Emma stayed at her parents' house. Tradition. We weren't supposed to see each other until the ceremony. I stayed in our apartment alone, stared at my tuxedo hanging on the door, tried to figure out how I'd ended up here. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Michael?" A woman's voice. Familiar. Not Olivia. "Who is this?" "It's Cassie, Olivia's roommate. We met a few times during." My blood went cold. "How did you get this number?" "Olivia gave it to me." "Look, I'm sorry to call. I know this is weird, but I thought you should know. Olivia's been telling people about you too. About the affair. She's upset you chose Emma. She's been drinking and posting things online and I'm worried she might, I don't know, do something." "Do something? Like what?" "Like contact Emma. Like tell her everything. She's really hurt, Michael. She thought you two had something real. And now you're getting married and she's spiraling." The room spun. "She wouldn't. I don't know what she'd do. That's why I'm calling. I thought you should have warning. Just in case." She hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, watching my entire life collapse in real time. Tomorrow I was supposed to marry Emma. Tomorrow we were supposed to start our lives together. Tomorrow was supposed to be the beginning of everything. Instead, it might be the end. I thought about calling Olivia, begging her not to say anything, offering her money. Anything. But I knew it wouldn't matter. You can't negotiate with consequences. You can't bribe your way out of the truth. I thought about calling Emma, confessing everything tonight, taking control of the narrative. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't be that brave. Couldn't watch her world shatter the night before our wedding. So I did nothing. Just sat there in the dark, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It fell at 6 a.m. The day of the wedding. Emma called, crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Check your email. Check your email right now." I opened my laptop with shaking hands. There, in my inbox, was a message from Olivia. Sent to me, Emma, my parents, Emma's parents, and half our wedding guest list. Subject line, the truth about Michael. The email was detailed. Dates. Hotels. Text screenshots she'd apparently saved. Everything about our 3-month affair. Everything I'd told her. Everything I'd hidden. And at the end, "You're all about to watch him marry his cousin while pretending to be a good guy. Thought you deserved to know who he really is." I called Emma back. "Emma, please. Let me explain." "Explain what?" She was screaming now. "Explain how you cheated on me? Explain how you lied to me for months? Explain how you sat in therapy talking about honesty while hiding this? I was trying to protect you. Protect me? Protect me? You destroyed me. Twice. First you cheated, then you let me think we could fix things. You let me fall in love with you again. You let me plan a wedding, and the whole time you were lying. Emma, please. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. You don't love me. You don't even know what love means. Love doesn't cheat. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't let someone rebuild their entire life on a foundation of more lies. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't give me back the years I wasted. Sorry doesn't undo what you did. Her voice broke. I was going to marry you. Today. I was going to stand in front of everyone we know and promise to love you forever. And you were going to let me do it. You were going to marry me while keeping this secret. I wanted to tell you. I tried. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't try at all. You chose yourself. You always choose yourself. She hung up. Didn't answer when I called back. I sat in the apartment and watched the messages flood in. From my parents. Emma's parents. Friends. Everyone who'd gotten the email. Disgust. Anger. Disappointment. Disbelief. My mom's message said simply, "How could you?" My dad's, "You've destroyed everything." Emma's mom, "Stay away from my daughter. Forever." The wedding was canceled. Obviously. Emma sent a mass message to all the guests. Due to circumstances beyond our control, today's wedding will not take place. Thank you for your understanding. Professional. Distant. Nothing in it that suggested the groom was a lying cheater had betrayed her twice over. I called her 73 times that day. She never answered. I drove to her parents' house. Her dad met me at the door. Leave. Now. Before I call the police. I need to talk to her. You've done enough. You've destroyed my daughter twice. You've made a mockery of our family. You've got exactly what you deserved, and now you need to live with it. He closed the door. I stood there until neighbors started watching. Then I left. The week after the non-wedding was a blur. I couldn't work. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Just existed in a fog of regret and self-loathing. Everyone knew. That was the worst part. Not just Emma. Everyone. Every person we knew had read that email. Had seen the proof. Had understood exactly who I was. My co-workers avoided me. Friends stopped calling. My parents sent one message, "We need space. We can't talk to you right now." Even they were done with me. Even the people who'd lied for 31 years couldn't stomach what I'd done. I tried to reach Emma one last time. Sent her a letter because she'd blocked my number and email. I wrote everything. Every excuse. Every justification. Every moment of weakness. I told her I loved her. That I'd always loved her. That I'd made terrible choices but never stopped caring. I got the letter back unopened. She'd written on the envelope, "Nothing you say matters anymore." She was right. 3 months later, I saw her at a coffee shop. She was with someone. A guy I didn't recognize. He was making her laugh. Real laughs. The kind I hadn't heard from her in over a year. She saw me. Our eyes met. And in that moment, I saw exactly what I'd done. I'd taken someone who trusted me, who loved me, who was willing to fight through impossible circumstances, and I'd broken her. Twice. Once with betrayal, once with lies. And now she was healing. Moving forward. Building a life that didn't include me. She deserved that. Deserved better. Had always deserved better. I left before she could see me crying. Now I'm alone. Completely alone. My parents barely speak to me. My friends have moved on. Emma is gone. My job is a placeholder. My life is empty. People ask me sometimes, in the rare moments when I interact with humans, what happened. Why I'm alone. Why I look so haunted. I tell them I made mistakes. That I hurt someone. That I'm living with consequences. I don't tell them the whole truth. How I chose temporary excitement over permanent love. How I lied when honesty could have saved us. How I watched someone offer me everything and decided it wasn't enough. I don't tell them that I had something real and rare and precious, and I destroyed it because I thought I deserved better. Turns out, I deserved exactly this: empty rooms, silent phones, and the knowledge that the best thing that ever happened to me is out there living her life while I rot in mine. The photos are still in a box somewhere. The ones that started everything. Pictures of me as a baby with people I'll never know. Evidence of a lie that unraveled everything. But the real lie wasn't my adoption. It wasn't our families hiding the truth. The real lie was me. Every word I said. Every promise I made. Every moment I pretended to be someone worth loving while actively proving I wasn't. I cheated on my cousin. Then I lied about it while planning to marry her. Then I lost everything when the truth finally came out. And the worst part? I can't even say I didn't see it coming. I saw every exit ramp, every chance to come clean, every moment where honesty could have saved us. I just chose not to take them. Now I live in the wreckage, in the silence, in the knowledge that I am exactly the person that email said I was. Not a victim, not unlucky, not misunderstood. Just a man who had everything and threw it away for nothing, then called it everyone else's fault. The universe didn't do this to me. I did it to myself.